What's up guys, Mark back with another video, and this time we're taking a look at the PapaGo GoSafe 520 dashcam. As most of you know, I love just about anything with a lens on it, so when PapaGo asked to send me one of these for review, I was all over it. Dashcams are becoming kind of a big deal in the US thanks to the Russians, and ever since the meteor strike footage surfaced a couple of years ago, we learned that almost 3/4 of the population in Russia actually use one. The GoSafe 520 is an excellent dashcam, and it is for several reasons. First off, the 2K resolution. You get a resolution of 2560 by 1080 at 30 frames per second. On their website, they talk about professional IMAX quality, and I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it is true that IMAX produces a 2K projector, but that's pretty much where the similarities end. Ultimately, the high-res format is awesome for use in your car, especially when you're trying to make out license plate numbers. Alongside the 2K format, they also provide you with a super high def 2304 by 1296p at 30 frames per second, and HDR mode that has 1920 by 1080p at 30 frames per second, and an HD 1280 by 720p at 60 frames per second. So, depending on your needs and the capacity of the card that you're using, just select the option that's best for you. All the files are created using the H.264 format, and it's contained in an MOV wrapper. As a side note, the HDR mode works pretty much just like you think it would. It captures a wider dynamic range based on a combined underexposed and overexposed shot, and then combining them together to create a highly detailed image. It's pretty cool. It also sports a 146-degree ultra-wide-angle lens, which is basically what you need in order to capture as much out in front of you as you possibly can. It also has a very respectable minimum aperture of f2.0 to help with those midnight runs to Mickey D. It's also equipped with what they call a G sensor, in other words, a gravity sensor. And basically, what it does is, in the event of a collision, or a heavy braking, or violent road conditions, it will sense all of those events and automatically save that file to a special folder and not allow it to be overwritten. That's pretty damn handy considering that this is a DVR style camera that will just simply overwrite the oldest files on the card when it finally gets full. Infinitely keep your device up to date with the latest bug fixes, improvements, and additions with lifetime firmware updates, which is a nice touch considering I absolutely hate buying something and it becomes virtually obsolete as soon as I open the box. In the box, you get everything you need to get set up and running pretty quickly. The only thing that's not included is the micro SD card. Just be aware that some cards are incompatible. And here's a note from their FAQ. Quote, "We have found that there are some compatibility issues with some brand name SD and micro SD cards even after you format the card correctly. There are so many SD and micro SD cards available for purchase that we cannot build a proper list at this time. I happen to have a PNY 16GB micro SD that has worked absolutely perfect from day one. I was initially going to do a little bit of complaining about the different sounds that this thing makes, but realistically, they can easily be turned off in the settings. Just to let me be perfectly honest, I actually appreciate the innovation in including audible sounds and warnings to, kind of help assist me while I'm focusing on the road. But they just aren't all that pleasing to listen to, in my opinion. I think that if the sounds were just a bit more polished, it might prevent more people from immediately wanting to turn them off. But on that tiny little speaker, these low-resolution sounds are just entirely too harsh and intrusive. Overall, I think this is a fantastic dashcam with more features than most other offerings on the market. So, what do you guys think? Are you going to join me and the Russians and pick up a dashcam? As always, the links will be in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys again in the next one. Peace.